Put that out of the way here. All right, let's see if this is better. I should be streaming live through YouTube right now. The lag seems better, a lot better. I don't know if it's going out better though. All right. Trying to monitor my settings here. It's one of my first times using this particular software to do this. It says that I have encoding overload. Consider turning down video settings. Okay. Let's turn the video settings down, see what happens. Can't turn them down. Okay, I'll have to adjust that later. And I can't tell if there's anyone on here. Anyway, let me, this is OBS, so I can do a lot more things with OBS than any other program. So let me pull up my desktop here, and you can see what I'm working on. Not that you care, not that anyone minds, but yeah, you might be able to see something interesting. Ask me questions if you want to. Trying to pull up my window for you. There you go. So this is what I'm working on. There I am, yours truly, working on YouTube thumbnails. It's rather exciting. You know, it's always a debate trying to make something look good for YouTube, not look too childish, not look too silly, you know. So I've decided on the green-yellow color scheme because I think it stands out pretty well. And then, you know, you just download it to your computer and then you paste it into YouTube. So the YouTube stream or the YouTube thumbnail is a pretty good attractant to bring people over to your channel. Paste it in. There you go. And save that. So now you should see a much prettier thumbnail when you're looking for me. All right, next video. Let's keep going. And I have to film some more video for Organic Chemistry 1, because the video I shot that I've been using for the last couple of years has been during the pandemic, and it's very, very low quality. So I want to refilm it with a much higher quality. Just because, you know, I like to be proud of what I've done. So there's another video we need to do. Going to put some thumbnails on here. I'm filming a lot of video actually for basically reviewing organic chemistry. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to do a review for nursing chemistry, or GOB chemistry it's called. Just because that's a big one. That's one of my biggest followings on YouTube is from that. So I think it can be helpful to people. I think people really enjoy it. Okay. Electronegativity and bond polarity. This live streaming is really making my computer lag too. It's pretty, I need a better computer, I guess. This is not good. I can't do my stuff. Okay, I'll just type it in, I guess. Let's call it polarity, I suppose. Polarity. I guess we'll call it bond polarity. Why not? Bond polarity. Big deal in organic chemistry and all chemistry is bond polarity. Lets you know what's going to be, what atoms will be attracted to what atoms in two different molecules or in the same molecule. You never know. If you know bond polarity, you know it quite well. You can make some really good predictions on what's going to be reactive to what, because remember, molecules and atoms have to collide, right? And if they collide, let's just use water. Water's a better example of bond polarity. I'm using ChemDraw right now to draw a molecule of water, just because I want to have a nice, pretty picture for students to look at. Remember bond polarity, delta negative, delta positive, right? All that kind of stuff. If you know the delta negatives, you know the delta positives, you know quite a bit, and you can do some predicting. But without knowing the delta negatives and delta positives, it makes it really difficult. In fact, it makes it basically impossible. If you don't know who's attracted to what, you won't know who's going to collide with who. If you don't know who's going to collide with who, you don't know who's going to react with who. In fact, if there's no collisions, there's no reaction, right? That's kind of how it goes. What's the hardest thing about chemistry, in my opinion? The hardest thing about chemistry, in my opinion, is probably the unit conversion. Students seem to have a hard time with that. After that, in organic chemistry, the hardest thing would probably be resonance, because it's the first time students are exposed to arrow pushing. And arrow pushing for some students is a bit of a struggle. But don't worry, if you practice it enough, you'll get through it. It's not that big of a deal, but it can be difficult for some students. Not for you guys, though, because you guys are awesome. At least I think so. What else do students find difficult? A lot of students struggle with Lewis structures for some reason. I'm not really sure why they struggle with it. They just do. I guess it's this lack of practice, maybe. If you practice Lewis structures enough, it's really fairly simple if you practice it enough. But you have to practice it. It's not something that's easily thought about. You're not going to be an expert at it just by reading a book. You really have to practice it and go after it. Okay, so I got my new picture drawn from ChemDraw. Import a new picture. Boom, bond polarity. Water. Water is the first molecule most people think of when they think of bond polarity or polar molecules. So there you go. There's a molecule of water with its delta negatives and delta positives. So there you go. And that's important, right? Because now we know that if another oxygen came along, another water came along, the delta negative of this side of the water, I guess you can't see my mouse, can you? The delta negative part of the water will interact with the delta positive part of the water. So they'll kind of interact that way, and that's called hydrogen bonding. That's a big deal in chemistry, big deal. Very simple to think about, but something that you really, really have to be aware of. Really, really have to be aware of. All right, moving on. Let's download this. So now back to YouTube. I'm going to paste in that thumbnail. Here it goes. Boom, new thumbnail. So I guess everyone will agree, if you look at this new thumbnail I have over here on the right and compare it to what was on the left, the new thumbnail looks a lot better. More attractive to potential users or viewers. All right, moving on. Keep it going. So the school made a mistake and gave me a new computer last week or two. Gave me a brand new one right out of the box. So I was dealing with a very old iMac for the longest time. It had a big screen on it. That's why I really liked it and didn't want to lose it. But the time had come. Its moment had passed for sure. Atomic structure and electron configuration. Okay. We can make a nice thumbnail for that. Electron configuration, big deal in organic chemistry and in all chemistry really, but especially in organic, because that's how you figure out where the electrons are. And if you don't know where the electrons are, you have a fairly hard time figuring out bonding and what kind of bonds you're going to make. Because, of course, there are more than one type, right? There's ionic and there's covalent and all that kind of stuff. And you need to know about the valence electrons, especially. There we go, back to normal. Alrighty then. Now, I'm running out the electron configuration of carbon, 1s2, 2s2, 2p4, or 2p2, sorry. 2p4, silly me. There we go. And let's just draw out the atom of carbon. Yeah, something like that. Carbon equals. There we go. What do I enjoy most about chemistry? I guess I enjoy the simplicity of it. How, you know, it's complicated, but also simple. It explains a lot of things. In fact, it explains most things. You know, you can take chemistry into biology and, you know, use it immediately. You can take chemistry into physics and also use it immediately. I guess I really like that about it. And I like the fact that people think it's hard, you know. It's nice to be good at something people consider to be hard. And I'm not all that good at it, to be honest. There's people much better than me at chemistry. Especially organic. There's many, many people better than me at it. But I found my place, I guess. Found my place in chemistry. And I was good at it in high school. It's probably the only science I was actually quite good at in high school. With very little effort, actually. I didn't really study all that hard for chemistry. Other courses I did. I studied very hard for physics. Very hard for math. I really did not enjoy math. Which is unfortunate. I think math is actually a fun subject. It's just, I guess, teachers I had weren't speaking to me on the level I needed them to speak at, I guess. I don't know. And I was young. I was put into school when I was a year too young. Because my mother wanted me to be with my cousins. Which I guess is good, you know. Give me someone to talk to. And have, you know, play games with and stuff. But I feel that maybe it was a little bit too young. But that was a long time ago. Long time ago. Not that long, though. Let's be careful. Why did I choose to be a faculty member? Well, I really didn't choose to. I wanted to be a research chemist at one point in my life. But then I taught a few courses at a community college in Michigan, at 2 community colleges actually in Michigan. And I fell in love. I fell in love with teaching. I fell in love with the interaction with students. I fell in love with the idea of being an educator. And I decided to pursue that. And it just so happened that at the time, you know, everything was going really well. Everyone was making money. The economy was great. Jobs were everywhere. And then the bottom fell out, as the economies often do. Is the S an s orbital capital? I want to make sure when I'm doing this. I don't know if they're upper or lower. Orbitals are always written as number in lowercase. All right, good. That's what I needed to know. Are these supposed to be lowercase or uppercase? And I'm pointing to something you can't see, so don't worry about it. All right, another thumbnail done. Hooray. I think. Where's my thing? There it is. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Gotta change some things here. One thing I will say for students, though, students often get extremely nervous about exams. And I understand that. I get why students get nervous about exams. But there's really no need to. Just prepare yourself. And I get that everyone's busy. I honestly do understand people are very busy. And, with life and children and all this other stuff. But you also have to see it from the faculty point of view, as we have to evaluate you on the subject. We can't, we have to keep our standards where they are. We can't drop the standard. And trust me, you don't really want us to, because when you get off to the bigger universities or to the licensed professions like nursing or pharmacy or MD, they're not going to be easy on you. These are very serious things. So you want to become serious when you're in the earlier stages of your career, so that being serious in the later stages of your career just comes naturally. And what you don't want is to think that all school is like high school. All school is like junior college. All school is like senior year in college. When you get to the higher levels, things do get a lot harder. And people become much more serious because now you're dealing with careers. People going to pharmacy school aren't going to pharmacy school just to learn pharmacy. They're going to become pharmacists, and that's their career. So, and they take it very seriously, of course, as they should. So don't go into these things thinking it's going to be easy, and that these courses like organic chemistry and biochemistry are just there to hurt you, to make you not be able to move on in your career. That's not at all what they're for. They're actually designed to teach you what you need to know, to move forward and be successful in these upper level classes. That's what they're for. You can't possibly understand biochemistry if you don't understand organic. It's just not possible. Could you memorize your way through it? Sure. But will you remember any of that when you move on to cellular biology, or when you move on to pharmacy or pharmacokinetics or drug metabolism or any of that stuff? You'd have a hard time remembering all that because you simply just memorized it. It'd be much better if you understood it. You can make a lot more better arguments, better predictions, and have an easier time on exams and stuff if you understood what you were saying, not just having memorized what you said, if that makes sense. Another thumbnail created for my YouTube channel. Hooray! And another one. Keep going. This is the boring part of YouTube, guys. The whole drudgery of making thumbnails and titles and trying to make things look good. All right. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does help me out. Trying to get myself to 1,000 subscribers, because what has happened is YouTube, in their corporate greed, I guess, have decided to monetize small creators like me, who had no intention of ever monetizing, and put commercials on our videos. So there's commercials on my videos now that I didn't know about till about a year ago, actually, a few months ago. Students told me there was ads on my videos, and I was shocked. Didn't know. Because I didn't put them there. YouTube did. And I don't get any money from that. I get nothing from it. So if you don't mind, subscribe to my channel so I can get up to 1,000 subscribers, and I can get some of that YouTube money. Now, what I promise you, and I'll make this commitment on a live stream, is that I will put every dime I get from my YouTube channel back into curating more videos for you guys, back into students, buying supplies to do chemistry demos, buying new equipment for filming and new audio equipment for audio, programs for editing. I'll put it all back into my YouTube channel. I won't take a dime of it for my personal life, except for to pay taxes, of course. You got to pay the tax man. But I promise you, other than paying taxes, I'll use it all for making more videos for students just like you. You know, and it's unfortunate that YouTube has gone this way, but that's the way they've gone. So we have to deal with what the deal is, and that is the deal. So please, if you don't mind, subscribe to my channel, and if you don't mind, also share out my content with others so that others may get some benefit from, maybe from my lectures, I don't know, or from my reviews. And I'm hoping that if I can get this live streaming thing down, I'm hoping to do reviews on live stream with my students and maybe with students from across the world. That might be kind of fun. But we'll see. We'll see if this live streaming thing takes off or not. What was the name of this video? Structural formulas. There we go. Structural formulas are an important part. Structural formulas. There we go. So now we got to make some drawings for the structural formulas. I'm not saying it's boring to do this. It's just not very exciting. But it's necessary. So what do you think, guys? Leave a comment down below. What do you think about having help sessions live streamed or office hours live streamed from my office? I think that'd be kind of fun. If you can't make it in, or if you're a student from a different school and just want a different take on how to do something, you know, your faculty member may not be speaking exactly in the right language for you. Happens. You know, not everyone can speak to everyone's needs. That's just the nature of the beast. But maybe I can say it in a different way, or just say the same thing in the same way, and all of a sudden it clicks. That happens all the time. You know, I personally don't get offended if students need to hear the same thing from a different voice. It's just when your brain is ready to receive it. That's usually how this stuff works. If your brain is ready to receive it, you'll understand it. If your brain is not ready to receive it, you won't understand it. And that's just how it goes. There we go. I'm drawing some figures in ChemDraw for this thumbnail, in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Wow, this is fun. So let me tell a chemistry joke, because you know chemistry jokes are fun. They're kind of like dad jokes, only less funny. What do you do with a dead chemist? You bury him. Ba-dum-bum. You bury a dead chemist. That's what you do. In case you're wondering, barium is an element on the periodic table. So you bury a dead chemist. You bury him. Get it? You bury him. Yes, dad jokes are the best. All right, here we go. Now you're going to get to see what I was working on. Get rid of this picture. Move this new one into place. There we go. Structural formulas, very important. We have expanded, condensed, and skeletal, also known as line angle. So there you go. Kind of pretty, I guess. This is how the sausage gets made. Doo-dah, doo-dah. This is how the sausage gets made. Oh, the doo-dah day. It's more than you wanted to know, right? Bam. So I have a new project for my students, which I think is really cool. I have my students pull a name of a drug, either a drug that's over the counter or prescription, and I have them do a 1-minute TikTok and a 5-minute, any format they like, video to describe some aspects about these drugs that they find interesting, especially, you know, things like discovery, who owns it, mechanism of action, all that kind of stuff, maybe even yearly sales. You know, but before I do that, of course, I make them all admit that they want to be in the medical field. And then we talk about drugs. Everyone likes drugs, right? I did it for the drugs. Next video, acids, bases, and buffers. Acids and bases and buffers. Good idea. Also very, very important in organic chemistry. Everyone hates working with acids, bases, and buffers, but man, they are impossible to get away from. And let's change the title here. Let's just do acids and bases. Acids, bases. Let's do it this way. Acids, bases, electrophiles, nucleophiles. That's fine. I gotta make this look pretty though somehow. Let me see here. Make it look somewhat prettier. That's good enough. Don't gotta get too carried away, right? Let me see here. What am I gonna put for a drawing? Acids, bases. I guess everyone's favorite acid, right? Hydrogen chloride. You know what? It's organic chemistry. I'm going to put acetic acid. Because it's organic, right? Not the common ingredient, the flavorful ingredient in white vinegar, acetic acid. It's yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. For those of you who may not know, I also have a cooking channel called Cafe Amora Kitchen that my wife and I put together. And my wife is Hispanic. She's a beautiful Latina. And we make some food from Venezuela because she really enjoys that. And I really love my wife and I want her to be very happy. So I make food from her home country. Arepas, tequeños, cachapas. What else? And some soup. Soup. Venezuelans love their soup, so I make her lots of soups. I didn't realize how good soup was until I had soup at a Venezuelan restaurant. I'm like, holy smokes, what is this stuff? This stuff is amazing. There's a great little Latin restaurant not far from the North Campus where I work at Broward College outside Fort Lauderdale. And it's maybe a 5-minute drive from the campus. And their arepas are to die for. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to die, obviously, but their arepas are freaking great. If you're a student on the North Campus or a faculty member watching this, get yourself over to the restaurant. It's called La Padeja. I think that's how you pronounce it. It means frying pan, I guess, in Spanish. And their arepas are spot on. I can make pretty good arepas, but these guys, whew, my goodness, they're good. They are delicious. In fact, I want to have one right now, but I'm not even hungry and I want to go get one. I'll wait for later. But yeah, they're good. So yeah, we have a cooking channel called Cafe Amora Kitchen. And I enjoy it. We don't have any subscribers yet, so maybe you want to be my first subscriber. Head on over there, Cafe Amora Kitchen. But it's fun. It's a labor of love. It's, if we make any money at it, it'd be great. If not, it's still fun to put videos together and to share the love of cooking and being together. Cooking as a couple it's fun. It promotes togetherness and all that, which is important in life. It's important that you have someone that you can do fun things with, like cook or go on adventures with, go to museums, go to shows or whatever. It's fun. Whoops, that's my green screen that just fell onto the view there. See, look. Kind of neat. Kind of cool. That's my green screen. Yes, I'm fancy. I have a screen in my office. Everyone goes, wow, you got a green screen. I'm like, yeah, it's a green sheet. Look at that. He's got a green sheet in his office. Yes, I have a green sheet in my office. So I can make videos that look somewhat professional. All right. Now you'll notice that I'm doing all these thumbnails and I still don't have descriptions written, like this part right here. I guess it's not working. There it is. This part right here that's turning blue. I have to write a description. I haven't done that yet. That's how YouTube finds your videos, is through description. So I'm going to have to do that eventually. One thing at a time. It's just the whole YouTube game. It's a big deal. It's because you don't get found without a description. And even then, people will watch your video but won't leave a like, or they won't subscribe, or they won't leave a comment. So, it's tough. It's fun, but it's tough. 7. Where's video 7? There it is. Okay, now what are we doing? Orbitals. Alrighty. Oops, this should have been 6. That should have been 6. Download. Let's fix that real quick before we forget. Let's put that new picture in there. Little things like that too slow you down. Make a small mistake like that, you got to go back and fix it. But it's a labor of love, right? So, got to do it. Okay, moving on to number 7. So, I'm from Canada, in case anyone's wondering. I grew up in Canada, small town in rural New Brunswick, Canada. So I'm a small town boy. My town, when I was growing up, didn't have even one street light, or one stoplight, I should say. It had street lights, just not stoplights. It had stop signs. And still doesn't have any stoplights. There's still no red or green lights in my community. In fact, the nearest red light to my community, probably an hour away. So yeah, I lived in a very small community. My family still lives there. I go there every Christmas to see them. In fact, during the pandemic, I was able to get up there for 6 months. It's the first time I've been in Canada for the winter, or for the summer, I should say, and the fall, in probably 20 years, maybe 30. So it was nice. The pandemic was obviously not nice, but being able to see family and friends and seeing the leaves change was a big deal for me. I live in Florida now, and the leaves never change here. They're always green. So it was nice to see the leaves change. Spend time with family. Yeah, nothing more important than family. Sigma and pi bonds. Let me make sure I'm spelling that right. Is it P-I-I or P-I? Wikipedia says P-I. Everyone else does too. Okay. Let's search pi bonds the other way. Nope. Wikipedia says pi. Okay. So I trust Wikipedia on stuff like this. Wikipedia is a great source for a lot of chemistry stuff because no one's going to make stuff up about low-level chemistry stuff. Maybe for politics and world politics and all that kind of stuff, maybe not pay attention to it. But for chemistry, who's going to make up the boiling point of something? The boiling point of this is that. If you don't believe it, go look in a book, right? No, I think Wikipedia is great for certain things. For some things, I wouldn't trust it, but for certain things, I think it's great. All right, now we got to make a picture. All right, so this is going to take me a minute. So I'm taking Spanish, starting tonight actually. Tonight's the first class. Doing night Spanish, 6 to 10. As I said, my wife is Latina, so it's important to me to be able to speak to her in her native language. She speaks English fluently. She's been in the United States for 30 years. But, you know, if she knows English, I should know Spanish. It's kind of how it should be. So I'm learning it. It takes a while, slowly. Slowly. Oh, sun's in my face. Very bright in here today. Okay, how am I going to draw sigma and pi bonds? Let me see here. Let's try this. Let me see if I can show you this, my window here. Let me see if I can capture it. There it is. There you go. So now you can see what I'm drawing. This is going to take me a minute. Put a carbon here and a carbon there. Let's put some distance between them. Just because this is going to be a Herculean effort on my part. I don't like drawing these things on ChemDraw because it's kind of a pain. Need an orbital. So there is an orbital. Now let's make that bigger. Something like that. Copy paste. Let's flip it around. Flip. There we go. Something like that. And now we need a p orbital. There's one. Let's make it bigger too. Something like that. Copy paste. Put that over there. Let's get rid of these. That doesn't look. That looks all right, I guess. I don't know. I don't really like it, but what am I going to do, right? What am I going to do? All right, guys, I'm going to leave it here because I have a meeting I have to get to in about 5 minutes, so I'm going to head off the live chat. If y'all want me to do some live office hours, go ahead and throw something down in the comments. Let me know. I have no problem doing that.